hello and welcome to the Woe Pony podcast. My name is Grace Clark and thank you very much for joining us today. I'm in a good mood. I'm back in the studio. I had a few weeks off. I went home for Christmas, so you know as it is. Now I'm back, baby. I've done a few YouTube videos, few episodes, but here we are, season 3 of the Woe Pony podcast with Grace Clark, and indeed a veritable feast of guests which are lined up for you in this 2023. I've been at work all day today, and hence why if you're watching this on the YouTube channel, I look a little bit like a Victorian child. Clock the cut of the... I'm wearing a black blouse for the listeners, and it's got a very big wide cut collar and very, very poofy sleeves. We're going to be talking about New Year. We're going to be talking about resolutions that people have broken. I've got lots of stories about people that had terrible New Year's Eves. Also later on we have got a song by my friend Dan Parkinson. He has released a new song. It's called Rent Free, and I'm going to be playing that because I'm a lovely person and I support local artists that are up and coming. Now before we go into the episode of the podcast, let's just have one more tune and then we'll dive right in. Right, hello, I'm back. I very nearly just missed the start of the show because I was messing about with the aircon because Gracie is warm. If anyone can hear me outside of the studio, can you please, I don't know,
let a light breeze come through or something? Oh my goodness me.
I'm schwitzing. Today I've got some stories that I have found on the great thing called the World Wide Web. Some stories of people's New Year's Eve celebrations that didn't quite go to plan. This one starts in 2016. I ended up with 3 different things to do on New Year's Eve. I cannot think of anything worse, quite frankly. I just want simple, plain and simple. I started with my stepdad and brothers drinking their home-brewed beer. I'm going to say that that's mistake number 1. Went on to my friend's parents' glitzy party at their mansion. You chose your friends well, didn't you? And ended up at a house party. I was wearing the new suede shoes my dad had given me for Christmas. Suede shoes. Were suede shoes in 2016? Oh, cool. They were really nice shoes and the night started out fine. I had fun with my family, who got to the second party around 10 p.m, celebrated New Year with them about 1 a.m, left for the third party where it all went downhill. Oh, this is too much of a schedule. This is too much. You can't be in 3 places at once, literally. My best friend immediately told me to drink this, which I did. Dear, oh dear. The red flags. Do you see the red flags in your evening? Honestly. I drank it pretty quickly. Only later did I discover that this thing was a pint of 50-50 Jack Daniels and Coke. I was gone. Full stop. Within 15 minutes, I was curled up and sick all over the living room, on the new carpet, on my brand new shoes. Oh dear. I mean, they were suede shoes, so I don't think it's that much of a loss. Sorry about it. It was a disaster. Someone had to take me home. I had to pay for a deep clean of the carpet, and I spent the next 2 days in bed with the mother of all hangovers. As for the shoes, they had to be discreetly thrown away. Sorry, Dad. Oh, that's quite sad. Probably dads don't really notice that much, to be honest, so he probably didn't notice that they'd been thrown away, and he probably actually didn't buy them for you in the first place. That's not me discounting all dads, but it's probably true. Red flags throughout that story, honey. Actually frightening sometimes how people are like, I don't know where it all went wrong. Beverly, it went wrong. Anyway, let's move on. Also, the sound that you can hear is the sound of my shirt. It's so cheap that it's rustling like a tent, honestly. I don't know what it's made out of. I'm going to take off in a minute. It's like a hot air balloon. Let's move on to the next one. I once went for a quick drink on New Year's Eve with an on-again, off-again man that I was totally into. Oh, gosh. On the way to a party at my best friend's, I ended up bailing on my lovely mates and spending the whole evening with the guy. Oh. I can see where this is going. And I'll be honest with you, it's easily done. At midnight, I blurted out, I love you. Oh, And he said, I love you too. Okay. The next morning, as we lay in bed with the world's worst hangover, he turned to me and said, about that thing I said last night, I mean, I do love you as a friend, but I don't fancy you enough to love you romantically. Oh! I feel this story in my chest. Obviously, I was so crushed. I spent the first 2 days of January in bed, alone in my shared flat because my flatmate was away. Predictably, I proceeded to waste my time with this guy again and again for the next year and a half before finally realising it was never going to happen. Oh, babe. As I said at the start, it's all very easily done. Oh, when you like someone, that makes me feel sad. But also, look, you needed to go into that new year wanting better things for yourself. But, you know, it's easily done. Moving on to the next one. My mates contacted me with a last-minute holiday idea as we hadn't got anything arranged for the new year. They decided on Norway. Okay. And ended up having an amazing night watching the fireworks at midnight before hitting up a few bars around 2 a.m. We then faced the inevitable dilemma of where to stay. We should have booked a hotel the moment we got there, but our flight was delayed and we wanted to get on with celebrating as soon as possible. We visited 8 hotels. They were all full. Obviously. After 2 hours walking around in the cold, we headed to take the shuttle train to the airport, where we tried to nap but were asked to leave. So we went outside and slept on the floor outside the station. And it was beyond ridiculous looking back, considering it was snowing and minus something crazy. But I woke up in a pile of snow, got up and took my flight home. We were all young once, but let's just say I wouldn't do it again. Well, that is a fun story to tell, I guess. But, I mean, yeah, you only live once. It's only one night. I'd have probably got hypothermic shock or something like that. I'd be in A&E. When I was about 19, our group of friends couldn't decide which of the 2 parties going on in our town we should go to. We finally made a decision, went there and realised we'd picked the wrong one. Classic. There were only about 3 people awkwardly not talking. We weren't allowed loud music because of the neighbours and everyone looked like they were having the worst time. So we made our excuses at about 10:30 and left. We thought we could walk to the next party, but we went the completely wrong way. We got lost. We were freezing. We tried to find places to go to the loo on the walk, but had no cash for taxis. We ended up spending the midnight on a roundabout in the rain. On a roundabout. Oh, gosh. Next one. Most of my home friends went straight into work after 6th form and were earning decent salaries, while I was used to spending a tenner on a night out at uni. So imagine my horror when I heard our New Year's Eve plan was £100 a ticket for an all-you-can-drink night in central London. That would be me. I'd be the friend. Oh, dear. Rather than sit home on my own, I agreed to the extortionate price tag. Note, I don't even spend that much going out now, and I'm 30. Fast forward to 10:30 p.m. We just got there and got a round of drinks when the fire alarm went off. Oh no. The entire place was evacuated and we weren't allowed back in, so we headed to the chicken cottage nearby, which is where we spent midnight. An early finish for the staff is all I can say. Moving on, I agreed to a New Year's Eve blind date set up by a mutual acquaintance a month after my mum died and ended up crying in a bathroom stall. Also, the dude spent half of the conversation with me talking about how he was against public education, knowing that I was a public high school teacher at the time. Well, that sounds delightful. This person said, I was in a beautiful foreign country with my ex who got hammered, kept leaving me alone and then dumped me, threatened to throw my card and phone in the river while I cried. He took it back in the morning and brought me McDonald's. Would love to apologise to 14-year-old me for putting up with that. Oh God. Not 14, sorry, 24. I hope that when the new year happened, you realised that you deserved much more. And that you shouldn't have put up with that. I mean, yeah, you're saying now that you'd like to apologise to yourself, but I hope you didn't put up with that for too long. Although, you know, knowing us ladies, you probably did. And I had 11 terrible New Years in a row. 11? In a row? Do you have a curse? And also, have you got a life? If you can count that you've had that many bad ones in a row, you've got too much time. Maybe you should just probably put up with the fact that you don't like New Year's Eve. This person is cursed. They're bewitched or something. My goodness me. Anyway, this person said, I had 11 terrible ones in a row, but the worst of them involved escaping from my buddy's girlfriend's family's backwoods compound at 4 a.m. after we realised they were neo-Nazis. Yep. That'll do it. That'll do it, won't it? I mean, it's not great. Not great. The next person said, actually a tough choice, but it would have to be the one where my boyfriend didn't want to kiss at midnight, and it took me a while to realise in retrospect that it was because the girl he was cheating with was also at the party. Gosh, I just feel so sorry for some of these people. It's just so sad. Why do people get treated this way? Well, on that lovely note, I think we should go to the 1:30 adverts if you're listening on the radio. And if you're listening on the podcast, I'll be right back.